All right, welcome to the Ninja Lounge, everyone. Here today with us we have FleetWood and we have Angel and the Ragnarok. How are you doing, guys?
Doing quite well, thank you. How are you doing? Yeah, how's it
Doing
going?
doing amazing, doing amazing. We are really glad to have you here for AMA. AMA. I think it's your second one, yeah?
Uh, Third, I think. Yeah,
Third.
third. And
Okay. Awesome, awesome.
we're really happy to
So
hear. Really excited.
that's great. That's great. Yeah, and I think the community as well will be happy with what they will hear because I know three of us we had already a conversation before, and I'm really excited that the community will know about your project. So yeah, I think we are ready to start. So Angel, why don't we start with you and let the community know about yourself, your experience, which is really amazing. I think what you have achieved over there. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really glad to be here. And I just wanted to say, I saw you in the other AMA as well. Spoilers. I'm just kidding around. So I guess I'll talk about myself first, and then we'll jump into kind of the theme of the theme of this whole AMA. So about myself, I'm 27 years old, turning 28 this year. Unfortunately, time is speeding up. I'm a games programmer / just programmer in general by trade. I'm a father, married, and yeah. So, and I'm an avid gamer as well. Well, I used to game a lot, but now not so much time, I guess. So about my experience as well. So, sorry, I graduated from university with a first degree in game development. In game development / programming from the University of Huddersfield. It was quite. I did also do a gap year as well, where what we call in the UK a sandwich year, where you work, you study 2 years, you work 1 year as an apprentice, and then you go back out. During my apprenticeship, I actually worked in Silicon Valley, out of a place in California, as a software developer. Actually, not a game dev, and then graduated university and started my experience. And ever since I can remember, I've always had like a fascination with complex ecosystems, and just I get a big thrill from just solving problems and learning for the sake of learning. So because of that, even through university, through my career, I've kind of been setting the bar a little bit too high, a little bit too crazy at times. So starting with university, I actually, when I graduated, which was only 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now, I actually integrated one of the first neural networks directly in Unreal to kind of push myself. And afterwards, I graduated. In the first 16 months, I went from a junior to just a normal developer to a lead. And I worked on a platter of things. I mean, most of the genres you can think of in the game world, like worked some racing games, some survival games, some shooters and fighters, and pretty much anything in between. And some really challenging stuff there as well, like everything. Even did some... long story short, did some VR trainings as well, and that's when I first dabbled into the enterprise world. And my first real challenge there was actually I had to do something really crazy, where I had to take a PS4 game and make it run into the Nintendo 64, which was, it's a huge gap in power between the two things. So that was kind of like one of my first craziest in period of just nonstop working 16 hours a day. Anyway, after that, after 16 months, I started my own company where I basically just contracted, and I did a bunch of different stuff, working on VR games for the Quest, and just a lot of other VR platforms. I've worked on a lot of AR applications, like doing AR apps such as what we like to call helper apps. So, for example, you're doing some kind of an event, and you're in the event, and you want to use the phone to do like hologram to basically see the map and project in the world, follow it, or like cool exhibition stuff. Actually, one worth mentioning is we did like this thing with Game of Thrones, where we get to work on the IP, and you just walk around the event. And there was this one really cool thing where you actually scan this cage with your phone, and the dragon starts busting out, trying to escape, and just a lot of cool other things. Works on other simpler stuff as well, like the companion apps, such as, magazine and toys. Again, this is all AR stuff. I mean, at this point, that was kind of child's play, those two categories. Smaller projects like mobile games, apps for fintech companies. I mean, everything in the and a lot of different stuff in the enterprise world, including even working on as assisting fashion and marketing companies. This was actually back a couple of years ago, before the metaverse and before this whole saturation in the market of these virtual platforms where you meet up would happen. So a bunch of VR stuff, or multiplayers, or just like a place where you can gather socially or display products, for example. And then after that, I actually became a technical director for a digital twins company, and that was when things kind of got really crazy. Even in complexity, got even more complicated than prior. Like, for example, one of the things we had to do was take all these massive enterprise models that are basically the equivalent, because I don't want to get technical, but in weight and sheer resource drain, they're equivalent of like taking 3 AAA games and shoving them on a mobile phone. So quite a lot of stuff there. And that's when the advanced augmented reality stuff started as well, where, for example, we had to have these huge machineries, and you have to track them within millimeter accuracy. And so you can do a bunch of stuff like maintenance or remote stuff, or even like simulating the physics of different parts. This is what it's made of, and I know it's going to corrode like this, or because of that, I can see the infrastructural damage, or I can simulate what I think will be the infrastructural damage, where the weak points are. And and actually, ironically enough, the more challenging thing there was actually integrating these dinosaur systems from the enterprise world and making them automated and reduce basically months of works into hours. So pretty much basically, I mean, I guess that kind of covers it. Just basically consistently pushing the boundaries and been dabbling in the enterprise, machinery, game tech, and just software world as a whole. Now, that was kind of I mean, I guess that's everything in a nutshell.
Well, nutshell, yeah. I mean, you definitely covered you covered everything, and you achieved all these in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, just under 5.
Wow. Wow. I guess your CV could be a pain for the HR managers, to go through. It's really big what you have achieved, in such a period of time. Big achievements. Well done.
And, ironically enough, that's like the shorter summary. But what the funniest thing is, when you get like HR and all these recruiters, half of them don't even read my stuff. So they're just sending me like the most unrelated stuff as a whole. But anyway.
Well, I mean, if you bring your CV to me, and it looks like it's 3-4 pages, I couldn't go, through it either. Awesome. Yeah, looks like you have a really good experience, and you know your stuff, which is what matters, in this space, and especially with your project. You definitely know your, what you are talking about, which is really amazing. And you will be full-time focused on your project on FleetWood?
Yeah, I actually, ironically enough, even though when I was working as a contractor, obviously, as I made my time very valuable, I was doing quite well. But then in October, I decided to quit all of that and just shut down all my clients and work on FleetWood full time. So it's been a bit of a journey. Although obviously at the beginning it was a lot of just setups and admins and so on and so forth.
Great. And how many members? It's composed the core team from how many members? Is it you and who else?
So we've got myself, basically doing the majority, just of the building side. We have Villa, taking care of the marketing and basically everything surrounding about it, and just. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it without Villa. He basically, everything that is in development, he keeps it on track. And then we have my brother, who was actually the first person to invest in the company. Without him, I wouldn't be here doing this AMA. And then there is no other people officially on the core team, but because throughout my years of working in the different industries, I have a lot of friends that I've made through time, and they've all been a couple of them been helping out on the projects here and there, like modeling or when I need like a backend system being set up. So that's really really nice. I can't say all of the names because obviously a lot of these people already work in big companies and they're not, officially allowed to. Some of them are, some are, but they will be revealed at a later stage in the project.
And you said your brother is like doing any part of the project, or is he just as an investor?
As an investor and also a consultant, because he has a lot of experience in the he's been a banker for 9 years, so he has a lot of experience in the financial world. So he gives me advice when I need it, and just keeps an eye on the budget and stuff.
That's good to have. That's good to have. Like, the big brother, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think we can go to Ragnarok and to Will, like, introduce himself, and then we can talk about the project.
Yeah, sure. I will keep this in a very, very, very little nutshell. And trust me, guys, when you get to know Angel a lot better, you know that was only a nutshell. Like, the man has so much experience. I've known him for a half a year now, and it still amazes me. He still continues to amaze me. So, but yeah, about me, I'm Ville Ruhanen. People know me in this space as Ragnarok. I own my own marketing company here in BSC space, Mr. Shills. And basically, yeah, I met Angel half a year ago. Angel basically approached me first as a client, because when he was conceiving FleetWood, he needed somebody to handle the marketing. And very, very quickly it evolved in a friendship.
Very quickly, yeah.
I'm truly happy about that. And yeah, I decided to jump into FleetWood. Besides running my own Mr. Shills, I decided to jump in to help Angel, because I really believe that this can be something so much greater than that has been seen in this space yet. So yeah, I'm going to do the boring legwork of marketing. I basically spent my time vetting AMA groups, and then as I believe these AMAs, they are the most efficient way to start a project. Of course, as this is a gaming project, this will very much benefit from all the types of marketing that I hate, which means bringing a lot of hype. Usually I just focus on a very serious use case projects, and I have a certain place in my heart about the Moon Boys, but this project welcomes all. So yeah, I don't know what to say about marketing. Of course, I can't reveal everything about the marketing strategy, but basically I can tell you this much: the strategy is composed of watching what other highly successful crypto gaming projects has done, and compose all of that into a very good mix and match of what works, and just take out what doesn't work. So yeah, it's a hell of a journey, but it has to be done. And I'm having fun doing it, so I really love what I do. But I'm more of a people's person. Like, I love meeting new people, especially when I met Arian as he approached us. Yeah, just another good example of the very good guys that you can find in this space when you look through 95% of the bullshit. So yeah, that's about that.
Thank you for that, man, and same for you. Like, and Angel is really, I mean, he's really lucky to have you, like, as a partner, and for the marketing part of the project, because as you said, when I approached you, and the way that you did the vetting of the, before you accept the AMA and stuff like that, it was really amazing, which it seems like most of the projects, they skip this part, so they just overspend their BNB without, like, where and how efficient is. So yeah, well done. I mean, you guys do a great duo.
Yeah, I like to say, Villa's like a bloodhound. He can smell when something's up from a mile away, and I really am so lucky to have him. He makes sure I don't know, the way that he protects this project. I mean, he's so passionate about it, just as passionate as I am, and I'm just really lucky to have Villa on board.
Yeah, true Viking and warrior. Great, guys, so. Great. Yeah, so. I'm pretty sure like this duo will work well. So yeah, Angel, let's go and talk about the project. How did you come up with this idea? Why do you want to do it on first place? And what do you want to achieve with this?
Yeah, fantastic. So I will cover those a lot of those topics. A lot of those questions I'm actually going to cover in the first topic, which is what I believe the current problem with a lot of these crypto games are. And you'll see that I do a little bit of air quotes when I refer to them as games a lot of the time, because a lot of these are really not what you would consider a game. But anyhow, in our vision of how to solve it, then I'll cover what is FleetWood. Then we'll talk about a little bit about the progress and the timeline afterwards before opening for question. So yeah, the main goal for this AMA is actually just to get everyone who is listening to hopefully understand the portion of our vision, and then they can, once they know it, then they can judge for themselves if they think this will be something good or not. So how do I came up with FleetWood actually goes perfectly into this first topic, like the problem with crypto games and my vision to how to and our vision on how to solve it. So like I was saying before, a lot of the I work a lot with games programming, and then I switched a lot more into the enterprise world in the late stages, just to find new challenges, and obviously it's far more financially friendly, the enterprise world. But the thing is, I've always, especially in the last couple of months, at my last place, there was like this itch on the inside. I've always had this passion that I wanted to create something that is both fun and have a utilitarian purpose, or solves a problem, or maybe all three together. And I've always had that. But then when it was really itching at me, this idea, although back then I was on FleetWood at the beginning. And then the more I got into crypto, the more I just see crypto as the future, right? Because crypto, in a lot of ways, solves many problems. But one of the things that crypto actually, when utilized properly, like the theory behind crypto, what its main thing that I think it's actually supposed to achieve is this whole equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, but equality of opportunity, where you have all these options. There is no fees based on whatever regulations are locally. It's all logic. It's all set up in a very clear and transparent and balanced way. But then then you would think to yourself, we have crypto, then we have games, then obviously there's going to be a project out there that really prioritizes the player and allows you to, that has a lot of complexity and build on top of it. But no, like a lot of these, things a lot of these games that we have in the currently are more like applications than actual games. They lack complexity. Right, they lack complexity. There's no layers to it. You can't invest because there is no layers. There's two very bad things that happen. One, you cannot invest time, or you just cannot progress. Right, then your only way that you can progress is that you invest more money, or you get lucky, because if there is no layers, you're only left with chances to balance out, randomize it. So obviously, if you have no complex game layers, then there is no complex ecosystem, because how are you gonna stack something made up of multiple components when it's only driven by two variables? So, and then there's, on top of all of that, there is the quality of these games. Most of them looking like 2000, and not to be too cruel, because there is some good ones out there that are quite that are looking much better, but and I actually think are all right. But anyway, the majority of them really look like 2016, 2017 mobile games. Like it's not fantastic. And then finally, the whole point of crypto is that it's not inflationary. Well, some coins are inflationary, but most crypto isn't supposed to be isn't supposed to act like fiat, right? But then you have these crypto games that obviously the price of these characters keep increasing and increasing. So then, like, we take something like Axie, for example, last year when it was at its peak, and you can sell like even some of the more basic characters for $1,000 each, right? Some of the base, like the not the good characters. And you need 3 to start playing. So now you need to invest $3,000 to start with some of the not so good characters to just start playing Axie. I mean, how are you supposed to get new players on board? And most importantly, where is the equality in that? So whilst obviously you want the prices of NFTs to keep increasing, you need something to ground it. You need to make the problem, on top of all the problems I just listed, one other major problem that I think with the crypto game right now, crypto games right now, is it just discourages new players. When the game is active, when there is a high player base, it actually discourages new players to coming on because they have to invest all of this money, and if they invested at this peak, there's no way that there's no security that they're going to make their return. And finally, one of the 2 more problems actually is the complexity of them. I think for a lot of these games to play them, let's just say that you're not a crypto investor, you're just a gamer. I mean, you have to do so many steps to just get set up. Depending if the token has its own DEX or doesn't have his own DEX, you might have to set up, obviously you have to make a MetaMask account. But if you can't, then you have to go and buy the token somewhere. If you can't buy it directly, maybe you buy it off an exchange. Maybe it's not listed on an exchange, and you have to learn how to use a decentralized exchange and swap it, and then get back into the game, then get your characters. I mean, that's like a 5-step thing. So it's not intimidating for us, people who are already in crypto, but that's because we're already accustomed to it. Most of these gamers are not accustomed to it, which brings me back into the final kind of bow around this, is that we have all of those issues from the game perspective. We have the issues from the economical perspective, and then obviously we have the view of the gamer. If you are a gamer, again, too complicated to start, too expensive to start, and how does it benefit me? Most of these gamers, and rightfully so, see a lot of these NFT games as just an evolution of loot boxes, right? Because if there's nothing but chances, how is it different than a loot box? And it's no secret that most gamers don't like loot boxes, or the fact that get lucky or invest more money. How does that differentiate from a pay to win? Is it really pay to earn, or is it pay to earn and pay to win? So we have to make a separation between those 2 things. So that brings us into, what is FleetWood? And I'll explain what the vision behind FleetWood is and what our plan is. And actually, you'll see how we solve all of these issues that or our vision to solve all of these issues I've just described. So, quick mention as well before I start. There's a FleetWood website, and a lot of these things I'm mentioning are on there that can be read. But the FleetWood website does not look great and does not have mobile just yet. However, it's actually, the design's been there's a new design, and it's currently being reworked as we speak. So it should be up in the coming weeks. But if you're on desktop, you can still read the info on the old one. It doesn't look as professional as I want it to. That's why it's getting redone. So, what is FleetWood? What makes us different? Well, there's a couple of things, a couple of big things actually, and I'll talk about detail in all of them. But we are actually going to have, one of the first things before I start talking about the intrinsic value of the heroes is actually that FleetWood is going to allow you to invest time, so you can progress forward. You'll be able to always invest time and or money, and those who invest both will benefit the most. But if you had to choose between investing time and investing money, eventually, if you keep investing time, it'll benefit you more. It'll start scaling up more than if you were just to invest money on itself. We have the second other thing as well: stable NFTs. We'll have a set of NFTs that never change their prices, the starting NFTs, that will really allow players to join in. And not have to feel discouraged when the player base is really high, because we want that. We want the player base to be high. We want new players to keep coming in as they see how fun it is, without being scared that, oh no, I have to put so much money down. The game is going to be quite balanced as well, and it's really going to be the matchmaking is going to be quite balanced, but also it's going to be really fun. There's going to be scaling, and it really prioritizes the player. And I'll talk about how we're really trying to put the player up first, throughout the next sections. So before we get into what is Fleetwood, I kind of have to explain the characters. There's a lot of different aspects to the characters, but I'll go through 4 of the key aspects, and they are quite. These 4 aspects are really important for the intrinsic value, and once you understand, once we talk about them, it'll make the rest of the game so much clearer, both the gameplay system and the economic system. So the 4 things that we'll actually be talking about is rank evolution, hero level, progression level, should I say? Let's not get confused. Just because hero level sounds like in-game. We have the progression level of the hero, and then we have the variant rarities. So the rank, you can think of the rank as the rank does many things. So for the hero, when we're just talking about the hero in specific, the rank affects your min and your max stats. Right, so whatever rank you are will affect the maximum range and the minimum range of your base stats of that hero. The first, outside of controlling the hero stats, it also controls what game modes. It controls what maps you can play and cannot play, and controls the difficulties of those said maps as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the rank. Oh, sorry. And before that, obviously the higher the rank of the character, the less of it compared to the other ranks. The scaling is also on the website, and also the harder to obtain. On top of obviously having all those perks. The second thing I want to talk about is rank evolution. Now, the rank evolution is basically some characters are going to have none, some are going to have fusion, and some are going to have a metamorph. What a rank evolution allows you to do is to basically traverse through those ranks. The type of evolution dictates how limited your movement is. For example, a fusion characters are rank 3 characters. You take 2 rank 3 characters, you level them up, you fuse them, which burns those 2 characters and creates a new rank 4 character. So that's so then obviously the rank 3s have the fact that they have to 2 of them have to be destroyed to make a rank 4 character with evolution, and then obviously the rank 4 character is the highest rank character to get. The second type of evolution is a metamorph. Now, the metamorph allows us to go from rank 1 all the way up to rank 4 just by consistently playing with that character and leveling up the progression level, which perfectly brings us into the progression level. So what the progression level does, all characters except for metamorphs will be, for now, in design up to level 10. Metamorphs will go up to 15 to actually go through all of the ranks. So remember how I said the rank controls basically your min and your max of your character. The rank basically, the progression level dictates whereabouts you are there. Then finally, variants. Before hero level, the progression level, it's out of game. That's not that doesn't mean that when you start a game, that's the level that you are. The progression level is your hero's progression. And we'll talk about how progression level and your in-game level are 2 different things when we get to the game loop. Now, the next thing is variants. The easiest way to so variants are actually quite a simple concept, but they're also a lot of people tend to actually confuse them who have no gaming experience. So from the NFT side, a lot of these other game NFTs or collection NFTs that you will find, their attributes are flat. Now, what I mean by that is that they don't have a censor character. They don't have a definition for a specific character. Let's to give an example is that we take something like a horse racing game. For example, some of these biker racing games, the Pokemon being an exception to them. The Pokemon-esque games actually doesn't fit in the description I'm talking about right now. But we take those type of games, and then they have a set of attributes, both cosmetical, or they have a set of attributes that are they have cosmetic attributes, and then they also have attributes that affect them in game. So with with normal NFTs, they're all on the same layer. So that means basically you have a character and it just randomizes those set of properties. It has 2% of this thing, it has 3% of this thing, or it has 1% of this thing, whatever. It's a set of attributes or set of utilities. One sometimes it's just the one, and then they all get randomized, and that's your end product. That's your NFT. With FleetWood, how it works is all those things that are described, the rank evolution, the hero progression level, and then all of the other core metrics that you can find on the website. That's the hero. That's, let's just call it hero George or Ben, whatever. That's all of the definition for that specific hero. What the variants do are actually just different cosmetic versions of that character, and that's what creates that character supply. So the character doesn't actually have a base skin or a base look, but he does have all of its base definitions and values and how he plays and what defines him and all of that. His lore, his backstory. All of it, that's within the definition of the character. It's just that the variants define how he looks, because there is no base look. And you have 3 types of variants. Then you have the commons and the rares and the epics. I mean, pretty self-explanatory, right? They just go up. The higher you go up, the lower the supply. But most importantly, the more time and is invested. Because like the way that these variants are going to be created, obviously you have different pieces of equipment, different types of saw, of weapons, and then we have sets of them that we randomize and we create a variant. As you go up in the chain, there is far more time invested on every design, and also a lot of them start having like specific themes or even shared themes across different variants, and whilst the pool becomes smaller of the different type of equipment, obviously, but it also becomes more bespoke, more design. You get cooler stuff like better effects, and whatnot. Also, the stuff that you're sharing is not something else. That's the thing. But yeah, so they. So as you go up, the variant obviously increases in both appeal. It gets special effects and a bunch of other stuff. So, which then brings us in to perfectly into the game. So, how does all of this work? So, your character, as I've alluded to so far, is basically the key to the project. It's what can, like I've mentioned, what controls what you can play and everything else. So how does the game in FleetWood actually play? So in FleetWood, you have to play, you need a hero, you need a harvester, and you need a builder. Now, the reason I haven't talked so much about the harvesters and the builders is because, as much detail as the hero, is because while builders have variants and they have a tiering system and resource collection, the harvesters do, that's everything else, they have the same, except they don't have the core metrics and the complexities of the heroes. Your harvester, well, like the name suggests, he harvests. Depending on what type of faction you are, if you are a sci-fi or a fantasy faction, the type of secondary resource is going to collect is different, but serves the same purpose. Then you have the builder. Again, self-explanatory name, he builds stuff. And then finally, we have the hero. So FleetWood is the gameplay. The gameplay genre for FleetWood is really it's a new genre in a sense, because it combines a lot of things. It combines some aspects of strategy, of real-time strategy. It combines things of fast-paced actions like Diablo. It actually it's not going to be point and click to move. You have a camera similar to Diablo, or that's like a little bit up and down, and similar to MOBAs. And then we actually have the tower defense element when we're talking about the PvE game mode. Now, there's different kind of game modes, but at the moment, everything I'm talking about is the PvE, and I'll talk about game modes and other stuff afterwards. So how does all of this work? Okay, so unlike other different character other tower defense games, Unreal really, outside of having, not Unreal, FleetWood, outside of having the enemies spawn and going towards a certain location, that's kind of, and having structures that damage them, that's kind of where the similarities end. It doesn't play like normal tower games where you just keep spamming towers or you just continuously upgrading. The way that the FleetWood PvE is actually going to play is you have your hero, and you have your builder, and you have your harvester. With your builder, you put up some defense structures and you put some towers up, and obviously your harvester start collecting things. the towers will start attacking, will attack the enemies, but the type of tower you will build not only depends on the different enemy types you're gonna have, it also really depends on the type of character you play. For example, if you're playing kind of like a tanky character that's does a lot of that's kind of slow, but also very strong, you might want to have towers that attack very rapidly, because they don't really need to do that much AoE because you have or utility because you have your big tank. Or maybe you're playing a fast-paced, squishy pace, a fast-paced and high movement character. You might want ice towers, so they slow the enemies down, so you can navigate around them and start chopping them down. But the fun doesn't end there in the layers. So, like I mentioned, we're going to have different character types. On top of the normal stuff, like having, divine enemies or different element enemies like fire, ice, and, the weak to whatever, and having immune enemies and all of these, and like air, land enemies, air enemies, and having all of these different enemies that are kind of, known in the genre. We're also going to have mini bosses and bosses, and they're very important because you really have to play with your team to get them down. So when when a boss is coming at you. Oh, sorry. Before we actually talk about the boss, we're going to have the enemies I was describing previously. They have different behaviors, and instead of not only different attributes and weaknesses and strengths and different mobilities, they also have different behaviors and different aggression. Some enemies are kind of like stupid, and they'll just keep going towards your wall or your structures to try and knock it down, and your hero mows them down. But some enemies are a little bit more clever. Like they'll try and navigate around, or they'll purposely try and attack your harvester and kill it, or run directly at that, not caring for the life, just running directly at it. Some might be a bit more sneaky and they do care. So then the hero really, has a lot already to manage. You have to manage the enemies, make sure he doesn't die, move around them, make sure he builds the right structures to match his playstyle, but also he has to protect his harvesters and his structures. Then we get to the mini bosses and bosses. Now, they will take team play to be taken down. And on top of that, you also have to consider stuff like collateral damage. So some heroes might be able to block or neutralize attacks. Others are just really fast and can dodge them. But one thing that really matter is how you dodge how you dodge or mitigate those attacks. You don't want to dodge them too close to your city because they don't, not to cities, sorry, to structures. So they doesn't get damaged. So because there'll be collateral damage and there'll be AoE, and very much will be using the environment a lot. And so we will be able to affect the environment. Or if you're a blocking type character, you want to make sure the projectile doesn't split and hit whatever's behind you. So, and you have to, obviously work with your team. So there's going to be a lot of layers to the game to slowly unpeel. It's going to be easy enough to get into at the beginning, and as you spend more time on it, you're going to unveil more and more layers. And that's just the PvE mode. Now, there is going to be a PvP mode, and there is going to be a creation mode, which we'll talk about in a second. But now that we know what the PvE mode is, let's just take that formula and say, okay, so how does the economy of all this work now? So how does this stack? We know the hero, we know the intrinsic value, we know how the game's gonna play. What's the economy around that? So the economy is also simple. Like we said, we have it has many layers. It's complex, but it's not complicated. And that's a very important theme that we're keeping. We have the stable NFTs, right? And then there's the rank 1 characters that are actually not going to be part of the public sale. I'll talk about that in a second. But you have the rank 1 characters, you have all the way up to rank 4, and rank 4 with evolutions being the strongest type of character. The type of rank that you have will obviously impact what you can play, and obviously, like I said, impact the difficulty and impact the risk, and also impact the rewards. So we know that the rank will control that. Will control that now. The other thing is, when you matchmake, you're always going to be put. Let's just say using a rank 2 character and you're doing with a map 2 difficulty or whatever. You always be match made with people around your strength, around the same stats. So you all start at the same base level. Even for PvE, where you're not fighting against the other players, so where PvE stands for player versus environment. Even still, you're balanced both through the matchmaking to make sure you have the same starting stats. When you're in game, when you finish the game, we already know that the minimum and the max loot is dependent on the rank and the difficulty of map you play. But how does it get distributed if you're playing with other people? Well, there's 2 factors to consider. There is obviously some degree a chance right at the end of the diciness, but the most important thing is how that loot is distributed. Is 2 things: is your performance, how well you played, and there'll be a lot of things to gauge inside the game to basically dictate that, how well you performed. And the problem is, doesn't mean just like the highest damage. You might have saved the most people on your team, or taken the most brunt, or done whatever it is. There's going to be a lot of different pointers. But on top of that, was going to be an honoring system where other players can honor different players, which will also impact their chances of what they get from that reward, what they get allocated towards them. That will. Sorry, yeah. So we have those two things that will definitely impact it. So sometimes maybe a player doesn't perform very well, but he's really friendly and he's just trying, and the other players just want to reward it. They want to give him some, even though he didn't play so well, he was a really nice guy. They want to give him an extra honor to increase his potential reward, the potential allocation, of the reward. So as you grind, as your hero level progresses, and as you go up the map, you can see a stepping stone. You keep playing those difficult those maps. You getting more rewards until you level up your hero. And as you level up your hero, obviously you're slowly increasing. You start here at this rank. You go up your hero level. You get more experience. You play more games until you reach a point where your heroes, at a max level, and you're getting the best kind of rewards. And then finally you get a hero of the next rank, and then you start progressing again upwards, and it's a consistent ladder. And when you reach the end, there is also different things that you can do. That you can do there. So there is actually infinite in a sense. There is no end. But before we get to that, so now that's the PvE, and that's the balancing, and that's how how you earn rewards. So the other really important thing is the energy system. So on top of the PvE and the PvP, you're going to have the solo, where the rewards are very minimal, and you can play infinitely of that just to keep practicing and just having fun. And there's also going to be custom games where you can just host games and have a bit of practice or whatever. So that's the only exception to what I'm about to describe now, is the solo. The rest of the games, be it whatever mode, cost energy. How much energy it costs depends on the map and the difficulty, and whether it gives you energy back or when you win or lose also depends on the type of mode that you're playing. For example, in PvP mode, you might not want to lose energy. If you win the match, only the losing party will lose energy. But so yeah, and also as your progression level and your hero increases, and as you gather more heroes and you level them up, the amount of free energy that you get every day will also increase as you progress forward. Now, this energy, just like any heroes, harvesters, or builders that you sell, just like any crafting material, and the energy will all run on the FleetWood token. That will be in game. So what was the next thing? Sorry, I lost my own track. So we've got the energy system. Oh yeah. So when you get all of these characters and everything, you have all of these characters. The main thing for this, a very, very crucial point for this marketplace now as well, for the exception of now during the public stage, when we sell when we sell the characters that we're going to sell during the public NFT sale, for the exception of that. And that phase, when the game is released, and after that, the only way to unlock a character is either you play and you unlock it through the methods I just described, or you buy it off another player. And that's the key thing, because the entire market, all those assets that I just described, NFTs, are all traded in between from the player to the player. So you cannot buy it from FleetWood. The only thing you can buy from FleetWood once the game is out is the stable NFTs, that the fixed price, so you can start grinding, so you can start playing and investing time and having fun. The rest, however, again, you have to unlock him or buy him from a player. The other thing is there is methods before I get into that, and obviously, as the end game reaches, you're gonna be able to do a lot of different things. Like, for example, in competitive mode, you can do custom biddings. You can custom stakes, should I say, that you can set, and there'll be other more cool competitive stuff alongside with the same kind of layer principles. However, all these official game modes will play completely differently. Like the PvE and the PvP and maybe the different modes inside PvP will play all different to each other. The only thing that's consistent is the heroes and the builders and the harvesters. Those stay the same. The rules of the game will change depending on what you're playing. The playing is not the only way to earn money in Fleetwood, though. There is a couple of different ways. There is the creation mode, and I'll get into that in a second. But you can also rent characters. Now, let's just say that you're a guy who bought from the public sale, or you just got really lucky and got a really, you bought it from the public sale, or someone gifted you like a really nice character, but you don't want to sell it, you want to keep it. Well, we kind of have like this thing, kind of like game staking, right? And really, in a sense, it is, because you have your character, you rent it out, and then depending on who rents that character out, depends on how that ratio is split. I mean, aka the difference between you and the character, splitting it up, and then any rewards that they earn are distributed between the person playing the character and the person who rented out the character. And obviously, as you have higher characters with higher ranks, the demand for them increases, and also your chance of having a more skilled player use that character increases too, which then, of course, if you have the highest ranked character with a really high progression level, because its level increases over players play it as well, and you have a really high skill player using that character, then your reward is maximized. So there really will be a demand not only in the auction, but only for the renting as well. Which then might bring you back to like, okay, well, what if someone just rented a really expensive character and I spent all this time grinding and I have like a lower ranked character? Isn't that unfair? No, because you're not going to be in the same game. Like I said, the matchmaking will make sure that you have balanced enough starting stats, so everything can be overcome with skill or game knowledge, and or both. So so those are the different earning paths, and there is a couple more, but go through the website. Not go through the website. I won't be able to summarize everything. But
I think that if we let you just keep talking about the project, you could we could have you for 3-4 hours here for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me and Villa have literally had. Yeah, the length of calls you have are ridiculous. But yeah, back to the thing as well. Next is the creation system. I'll mention that very briefly. The creation system is actually a separate economy from the main economy from the official game modes. That is where you'll be able to make your custom games with complex winning condition. You'll be able to also make your own assets for those maps as well. So think. I'm basically essentially trying to bring back modding in a very in the way that it used to be. You know, like you had like your Gary's mods, and then you had even the stuff in that you can mod directly in Unreal, like for example Ark Survival. There was your Civ mods, there was your Warcraft 3 mods, there's your Dota mods, and there used to be so much emphasis back then on modding and letting people create their own thing. And I want that. And for that reason, all of these assets that the players, game modes that the players create, they own the license to them, not Fleetwood, right? So if you make a really cool game mode and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is really picking up, maybe I can turn this into a full game. I don't own the license to that custom creative game mode. Go ahead and do it. I mean, I've created innovation. I've not created. I've allowed someone. I've provided a nurturing environment where someone can innovate and then they can take it and build it into something better. I'm not going to stop them. I think that's really great. So they own the full license to it, and there you have different different monetizations there as well. You can host custom games, you can license them out, or you can straight up sell the entire license. You can also play and join custom games. So that's the creation mode. So yeah, those are the kind of in a nutshell, all of the most important earning avenues, be it casual play, competitive play, hero renting, custom modes, or content creators. So I guess, is there any questions before I jump into the progression and timeline? Because that's
believe me, I mean, I felt bad. I didn't want to interrupt you. You know, I like the way that I show you. You know, like you had that flow, so I didn't want to interrupt you. And Billy was laughing. I mean, whenever you say nutshell, Billy is always laughing.
Yeah, my nutshells are pretty big nutshells, aren't they? They could feed a squirrel for 10 years.
All right. So, first things first, you said that you don't want, you mentioned another project, and the entry price to start playing there, it's quite high. So That means for you to keep the floor price low, that you will mint unlimited NFTs for them to start playing?
The unlimited in the stable characters,
let's say that you have a big volume of players. How many NFTs of the basics ones are you going to mint, or will it be like a fixed number or unlimited?
Yes. So when I say the stable NFTs, aka the rank 1 common variants, the ones that are fixed price, just like the base builders common and base harvested common, they are infinite in a sense, but they're not really. They're infinite in potential, but they're not infinite in flow. So what do I mean by that? So we print a set amount, not print, sorry, we mint a set amount of characters. Let's just say a couple of million. I do have more exact figures, but they're not on this document here. We mint them, and then when that's about to sell out, and when those characters are about to sell out, then we release the next batch, right? So it keeps dropping in batches. And the reason that is because all of the other characters that you unlock in game scale off that. It's one of the scales, not the only scale. So, if we have the first batch of 7 million characters of the rank 1 commons, then the rest of the type of characters that can be unlocked in game, they're going to be minted and locked in a vault so people can unlock him, will get scaled by that. So does that answer the question?
Yes, and when it comes to the actual, let's start with the first batch of the NFTs. What's the tokenomics of them? I mean, from these sales, where the money will go? Will it go like for the research and development? Will it go for marketing? Is there like any breakdown on that?
Yes. So you're referring to the public sale of the NFTs now. They're going to be hopefully aiming towards the end of July. That's the first major revenue stream that FleetWood's going to be making outside of the seed run, and the majority of that goes exactly into that, just goes back into the company for development and for marketing. Because obviously, whilst we had a very successful seed round at Mr. Shields and the amazing FNC community that actually managed to raise 250 BNB for the Fleetwood seed round, which is fantastic. But obviously, you can't hire people full time on that or with that kind of capital. But again, I've been very lucky enough because of my connections. All of the money from the revenue from the NFTs goes back into development, hiring full-time employees, setting up servers, and setting up the tokenomics and everything else around it. After the NFTs, unless we do a series, then all of the money is obviously that gets raised afterwards through a private or whatever token launch we do, private and public or just private, whatever the case. In those scenarios, you can always use only a tiny chunk of that into development. The rest goes into liquidity. So the NFT sales will be the first major public revenue, and it'll be the main revenue for the actual development and marketing budget.
Great. And when it comes to the contract for the NFTs, because renting NFT, the NFT marketplace, and all that stuff, is that the developer in-house, or is it a contractor? And because why I'm asking this question, it's like we've seen lately a lot of scam developers.
Yep.
So how are you gonna secure this? Give a security to your community, nothing will happen with that part of it.
So there's two parts of that. Firstly, is the public NFT sales are actually not on our own token because we don't want to rush the token. Actually, the public NFT sales are going to be at the moment on Wrapped ETH on OpenSea, but maybe we'll add them to third-party platforms, and if there is enough demand for other blockchains, we can add them on there. Which then brings the question: wait, are you going to bridge to all these networks? No. Of course not. What this basically does is you buy the NFT, and it's no different than buying a presale for a game, except you're not buying a presale for a game, you're buying a presale for that specific character. And then when the game comes out, it gets unlocked one-to-one. So for this NFT that you've bought, you log into the game now with your with the same MetaMask account, and you can automatically activate the actual in-game character running on the FleetWood token. On top of obviously still having your other one on OpenSea, except now it's already been activated. It's been activated now. So then once it actually comes to the token and making sure the security, again, that's why we're doing it this way, because this way we can use secure and good networks to get the revenue. And then once we have that, we hire everything in-house. And also I myself will also be jumping in Solidity and all this other stuff. I won't have time to develop myself, but I need to understand it fully and get my make sure I know all the pitfalls for it, because when I do hire someone, I need to be able to vet them. But thankfully, I have a lot of years in programming, and I've looked Solidity before. And while I'm not a Solidity dev, coding's coding. It's all about learning the syntax and learning your environment and your compiler. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, to have like a feeling on what's going on, to know what even the developer, like if you don't know what he's working on, and if he gives you the project and you don't know anything about it, and it's like, let's say, completely wrong, or there are mistakes, you are gonna burn. I mean, not him.
It's very true. And you know what else? It's a bit of a digression, but it's actually shocking how many people in the technical world hold really high position in management of products and have no technical experience. Like, I have come across that many times, and it is it's really shocking at times. Like, I was just adding it to that point. So the next question, I guess.
All right. So I could say the next question is like, if someone wants to invest, will it be like investing only to play the game and at the same time earn, or investors can benefit? Only by the NFT, let's say, because the token itself might come like in 6 months, 1 year period of time. We don't know that yet, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the investor right now, if he buys the NFT, he does not want to play he doesn't want to play the game. There is two values to him. Yes, we have the hero renting aspect with it, where it's basically the equivalent of staking your hero, and you can continuously make he can gather other assets that he can sell, and also get different ways that he can get tokens too. So then that's the passive income, I guess, that we're going to call it, right? Because you have the passive income, and then you have just a big sell, and then the long-term investment. So the hero renting and the stacking is basically can work as both passive and long-term. But also there's another big aspect to it, is now if you buy this NFT during the public sale, this is literally the only time in FleetWood's history where that character is not going to be able to be unlocked. So now, that character doesn't have to be bought from a player or unlocked in the game. So when the game is out, all of a sudden, this rank 4 character that you bought, its price is being set by the player. And you best believe that player is going to set that price high if he had to grind his ass off to grab a character of that ranking. This investor now has the option of, I can rent it out and continuously making long-term and passive income, or I can just, straight up sell it and many X my own investment, because I've kind of kept this theme as well from the seed round to the public round. I always sell a lot less than what I actually think the end value of these NFTs are going to be. Like, for example, the seed round that we did in the for the FMC they got a lot of it. It was very good because it was so early. And that theme is going to continue. So he does have those many. He has many ways of making money as an investor, even if he has no intention of playing the game.
All right. And do you plan like having like a scholarship program? If someone who wants like he wants only to buy the NFTs, but then hire a scholar to play the game for him and like split the earnings?
Yeah, that's what the hero renting does.
All right. I think I'm done with my questions. Do you have anything else, or?
So actually, I was going to talk about the
more,
timeline
right?
next. Yeah, I always do. So
Yeah, go on.
what I was going to talk about next is actually the progression and the timeline, because a lot of people are going to want to know a rough timeline of what's going on here, and when we can start expecting some of these things. So firstly, we have the scene round. That's gone and dusted. Now we're working on a lot of things to reach the NFT phase. Now, what are we working during the NFT phase? Obviously, we're rebranding the website, redoing that. We're launching that. I'm creating a new pipeline inside, a more robust pipeline inside Unreal. All the new developed artists now that we're currently in the process of hiring are going to be working in. So what that does is actually a lot of these NFTs that are already out and the stuff from the website is actually extracted directly from the engine. This is footage in engine, or what would be considered later in game. The only difference between engine and game is that instead of you doing an import and him doing an animation, I've just told it do this animation at this time so I can extract it. That's literally the only difference between them. On the character perspective, I mean. Anyhow, so then we building a pipeline that will allow us to improve on the system I've already created, but I want to fully automate it, which will then do all of that, then put it in our bot for the distribution and send all of them out. And I will get to more of that on a second. Then we have the website tools coming out. Before that, we have the NFT tracking. So we're going to have a backend system. So originally, I was going to have you buy the NFT, and there's a code that comes with the NFT that then allows you to unlock the character. And I realized how stupid that is, because you could just buy the character, take a snapshot of the code, and then just sell the character and activate it before the guy who you sold it to. I mean, you can be a real scammer about it. So there is no more code anymore. There's just NFT tracking. So a backend system is going to track who owns what wallet owns what NFT. So then when you do enter the game, or when we do want to, when the game is out, or prior to that, when we do add the website tools, which we'll talk about in a second, it will just be automatic. And if you sell it, it'll automatically update. If you buy a new one, it'll automatically update. You don't have to worry about being scammed, and you don't have to worry about doing any tracking yourself, or doing anything technical. The other thing that's coming then is the account. We're going to have an account page before the public sale, where you'll be able to log in and see some of this information I already talked about. There's going to be tons of info on each character, because obviously all of these NFTs platforms limit me as to what I can put for the character, because I have to follow the formula that all these other people, the general formula for NFTs. And as we know, we're very much moving away from the more basic and more simplistic stuff that's out at the moment, trying to build something of real problem solving, a real utility that actually to it. So obviously we're going to have a lot more info for the characters on the website, where you can see each character and you can see all of this stuff in more detail, such as how many are out, what's the total variant supply left, which of the variant supplies have actually been minted, and what do they look like, and so on and so forth. And we're building a lot of other stuff that is going to go around the ecosystem around the game. Then we have the NFT public sale. There's going to be a phase that's going to start in July, where we're going to release a couple of characters that, again, are going to be a fraction of their total actual supply compared to when they're out. Then we start, after that, we go really into full scale development, because I can start hiring a lot more people. I can rent out an office as well if need be, and so on and so forth. Then we obviously after that phase, we're not just developing much more into the game. We're doing everything, all the rest of the ecosystems left, including the token and the tokenomics. And around that time is when we're going to start dropping stuff more about the token. There is no release date, and I won't give a release date for the token either at the moment, because there is a lot of things that we are considering. And just like everything that we've done at the moment, we take it one step at a time, and we make sure that it's rock solid, that it's a solid foundation that we can build something new on top of. And then the alpha for the game is aimed towards mid to end 2023. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. And 1 hour and 7 minutes, almost, just off by 7.
I think you were looking on the time, how long it took you. And in regards of the public sale, will it be like a whitelist the public sale? I mean, everyone can buy, or whitelist, or how it will be?
It'll be everyone. We're gonna launch once we launch the NFTs on these third-party platforms, anyone can buy them who was part of the community, who was following, and then they can jump in. They will, yeah. So for the NFTs, once they're out. So you gotta get them. Sorry, not you gotta get them. You gotta get them. If you want more, you have to get it before someone else does.
Right, right. Yeah, I think you covered. I mean, I could, if I could let you, you could continue like talking about it, I'm pretty sure.
Probably, yeah, actually, definitely. But let's not.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I remember you said that like we could have a short video chat that earlier day, and we were like for an hour for a short chat. So
For a short chat, exactly.
yeah, yeah. So are you ready to go for community questions?
Yep,
You feel
excited
ready?
and ready. Yep.
Awesome,
Oh wow, there's
awesome.
55 on red. Okay, so I'll let you pick instead of me then.
All right, guys. So yeah, please raise your hand. Whoever has a question. Let's see. Let's see. No, looks like Angel covered everything for you guys.
Oh, that's a first.
I'm sure there will be a lot of questions, but of course, after this AMA, you are free to join the FleetWood Telegram and ask those questions.
Absolutely.
And the Discord. There'll be a lot of. Sorry, go on.
We'll share all the links for you guys later on in the end, like a summary of it, like Telegram, Discord, so people can join you and feel free to ask any questions with them, to follow up on the public sale of the NFTs, on any announcements that they might release and stuff like that.
And,
wow,
yeah,
I'm really surprised. No questions.
That's
Or
yeah.
they
That's I don't know if that's good
guys,
or bad, but
if you're shy, you can drop your questions in the main chat as well. If you don't like to get on the VC.
This is the first time that there is no questions. Like
I'll take that as a good thing. It means I didn't waffle.
Yeah.
I shot in about 7 minutes, and I must have been concise enough.
No, your description and the way that you described the project was, it is very detailed. So I think that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's give it a few more minutes. People might come up with questions. You can have a look as well on the website, guys. Like you might see something that you might be curious about.
I just want to speak up and say hello, Ragnarok there,
hello.
and Angel, and I've been busy doing other things, and then I'm headed after my son, so I'm in the truck. But
I know the feeling.
Did you? I'm sure you did, but did you talk about the actual date of when the first thing's going to be ready to go here?
Yeah. So the first thing is going to be the public NFTs sales, which is going to hopefully the end of July, and the actual game release date will be at the will be towards the mid to end of 2023 for the alpha release. But we don't plan on being one of those projects where we just stay in alpha for a long time. The alpha is going to be short lived. It's just I need to make sure that everything is good before I open the service to thousands of people, because servers are very, very tricky thing to balance. Yeah.
Right on. So end of July. So there's some time there to build the community, and ladies and gentlemen in the group here, they have a Discord and a Telegram. So be sure you hook up with these guys, and great guys. They've been in our community. Ragnarok, fell in love with our community the other day, and so. Join their community and check them out and ask questions and see what they're all about. The game, what I've seen in your post and on your in your Telegram, some cool graphics and stuff. So I'm gonna have to check it out more.
Fantastic. Thank you. I appreciate that. And actually, I want to give a shout out to the FleetWood community, because a lot of these graphics that are being pinned to stickers is actually our community members just taking stuff from the terrible looking website at the moment that's being designed, and just they're taking the content or pictures or just cropping them out. Messing around to make stickers and GIFs. And yeah, just a big shout out to the community. I'm so lucky to have found Ragnar and his community to start this off, and I'm so lucky to have had the people that have joined so far, because seeing all these people seeing the community getting so enthusiastic and them making these their own versions and just their own graphics for Fleetwood, it really makes me very happy.
That speaks well of the project. I mean, it's all about the community always, and so
exactly,
if they're that involved, then that's a good thing for sure. All right, guys, I'll catch y'all again, I'm sure, soon enough. Enjoy your day.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, mate.
Yep.
And do you, Angel, plan to have like a mobile version of it as well?
A mobile adding the
Version of
game
the
to
game.
mobile.
Yeah.
A mobile version of the entire game, no, because as I mentioned, controlling all of these things and figuring out all these layers on a mobile phone will be very hard because the input is just your touchscreen. However, that's not to say that there wouldn't be Fleetwood aspects or some things that allow you to interact with the system one way or another. But
maybe the tower game, it could be like good for it, for the mobile app.
With a simplified version of that and some other stuff, but I don't want to disclose too much, because let's just put it this way: I have given it thought, but no, the main game is not going to be on mobile, just because of this complexity of the input that you're going to have and the layers to it. But that's not to say that there wouldn't be something that allows you to attach to the Fleetwood world through mobile.
All right. And which engine are you going to use for the game development?
Well, more than likely, we're going to be using Unreal Engine, and we're going to be using Unreal Engine 5 as well, because we did just recently release. However, I've had access to a lot of people have had access to the earlier versions all the way back since August of last year, and there is, even though we're not going for a realistic look, there is some very, very cool things I can pull off with the Nanai and the Luminosity and all these new cool features that came with Unreal 5. To put it into perspective, the jump in power between Unreal 4 and 5 is actually bigger in terms of what it lets you do than the jump between a 1080 and a 3080. Like that's what Epic achieved with that release. So Unreal 5 will be for the actual game development.
All right. And Ragnar, do you like to give let's say, brief nutshell summary on your marketing plan? I mean, you don't have to reveal much, but like a nutshell, but not Angel's nutshell.
I was about to say
that. Yeah, I have to keep it very brief because, as the famous movie phrase goes, if I tell you, I will have to not tell you. So. But yeah, as I said in the very beginning, way I try to compose this is just take from other tremendously well successful crypto games and try to take what they have done and evaluate what has been successful and what has not been successful. But from the marketing side, and I actually wanted to talk about this in the beginning, we are just beginning. Like when Fleetwood was conceived, it was only my private founding members club who knew it until like 3 weeks ago. And yeah, this is the third AMA we have done. Everything is still in the very beginning stages because, of course, we have these things like website needs to be relaunched and so much adjustment because this goes into so deep levels, this project. We just take it easy and basically the idea of these AMAs is just to create awareness of the project for people so they can come and join us in the communities in Telegram and Discord. And of course, all the major updates are there. So, yeah.
All right.
If you guys want to be early.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of it. And I know it's quite early for it, but have you guys thought of promoting when the game comes and stuff like that, like a way of marketing, like live streaming on Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that? Because I think this will go big, and that's one of the best ways to go for it.
I'll let Bill answer this.
I'll answer this. Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
nutshell, but not my nutshell again. Like,
nutshell.
and the mystery aside, but it's a very good question, and that's why we're both
Uh,
smiling.
Yeah, as I actually forgot to mention, I'm also an avid gamer. I have been a gamer all my life. I'm 33 years old, and I've been playing since 8-bit Nintendo, I think, which was a long ass time ago. But yeah, I follow I follow a lot of influencers, gaming influencers, just as well as crypto influencers. And the best way to market a project when it comes to the alpha stage is getting the influencers in, basically giving them the game to play so they can make the content because they have the how do you say it? They benefit from making the content among the first from something that's going to be massively successful and enjoyable, first of all. And also, we get a lot of free eyes on us just by these people making content from the alpha, from the beta stages. So, yeah, and I have a long list of people I already know that will be very fascinated from this from this game.
All right.
Yep.
I think that the marketing is like way ahead planned here.
Yeah,
And
that was this much of a nutshell because unlike Angel here, I can say something in an actual nutshell.
I should I should have asked Angel for that. He could have revealed more.
well, I want to add something to that as well.
Not too much.
Not too much. Okay, so I'm not gonna say how, but we have a very strategical market plan for how we're gonna convert gamers from the existing that have genres that overlap with Fleetwood. I can't give too much away because it's kind of a bit of a silver bullet of how we're gonna do it, but we have a very strong plan of not only getting influencers in, not only getting the word out, not only getting content creators, but also how we're going to reach the gamer directly. So then we're touching, not touching them. They're seeing Fleetwood on multiple locations that they overlap with, be it they're playing the game or they're watching the YouTube or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to add that, and maybe even that was a little bit too much, but still.
Yeah.
Everything is revealed in our Telegram and Discord when the time comes.
Yes, and that's why everyone here has to join their Telegram, Discord, so they can stay updated. And we do have 2 questions in the main chat.
Yeah, I was about to say. So,
all right. So looks like things are heating up here. Let's go, guys. Fire them.
So to answer LM first, no, actually, it's quite the opposite. So the base value of what you need to run Unreal 5, it is higher when you enable Nanite and Luminosity. But what Unreal 5 can do out of the box without me doing the optimization is far more optimal and efficient than what Unreal 4 can do. For example, my 1080, which is now still a very good GPU, but quite old now, I can push the living hell out of that. I can spawn like 100,000 enemies and not bajillion, but like a million buildings on there. And because of the nanite technology, that's still gonna run at 100 frames per second, and the luminosity stack on top of it. Now that's before considering the many years I've of optimization, especially in the just in the beginning of my career. I had to take a PS4 game and shove it on a Nintendo 64, and that's going from 8 gigabytes of RAM or 6, whatever it was for the PS4. So I can't remember, but gigabytes of RAM into megabytes, and 30% of that, almost half of that already being used by the engine, so it kind of limits what I can do with the assets and code and how efficient it runs before the render buffer a lot. So no, to answer it shortly, I have a lot of experience in the optimization section, a lot of experience in Unreal, but no, Unreal 5, whilst the base of it, when you enable those features, is higher requirement than Unreal 4, doesn't really matter. Any PC in the last 5 years is going to run it without a problem. Just Unreal, not the game. Our game will be the same, if not better.
Yeah, that's good because now it's like a big concern when new games are released, and most of the people think like, can I play it? Can I run it? Stuff like that. So That's good, because creating a game with high specs, it's good, but at the same time, like you will exclude a lot of the players due to the fact that they cannot run, they cannot play, so they have to invest more money into getting a new computer with higher RAM and specs and graphic cards and stuff like that. Awesome.
Exactly. And I want to just add to that as well, just because, like I said, the main thing for Unreal is for FleetWood is we have that stable thing, we have that equality of opportunity because I'm really targeting all of these. I really want people who are from countries like maybe some of the bad countries in badder countries in Eastern Europe that have less opportunities for you to earn more, or they have corruption, or you're in some of the more third world Asian countries like Thailand or Philippines. We need to have the stable NFT so you can start playing. We need to make the game so it's easily accessible, even if you only have a little bit of money and you have some 6-year-old laptop. And we need to have that progression. So those are like things that I'm always keeping in mind, because I really do want to create this equality of opportunity for people. So and then I guess we'll go into the next question in a sec after that. Oh, my mouth is so dry.
Yeah, take a break.
Okay, so I'm just going to read the
Yeah, I'm reading it too.
Okay, so the last part, does your current project take into account the various inputs and demands of your community? I kind of answered that just with the last one, but the first part regarding how I'm going to interact with the community and basically attract and expand in another sense, or attract and expand is the same thing, but the keep getting new people and also keep having the people who are there already entertained. The way that we're going to do that is, even though we have the public sale and then all these intermediate things between that we're building, and also then the alpha next year, throughout that entire time, I'm always going to be posting like, for example, I have devlogs for the people who are from the FMC. So if you have in Discord, you can get different roles, and depending on which role you have, you can gain access to the exclusive content and also a bunch of other stuff in the level. I'll take a while to answer, but basically we have the interaction through Discord and the ability to get roles. We have more exclusive content, and on top of that, I'm also going to be dropping just on top of adding more exclusive content, I'm going to be adding public content like teasers for the characters. We're going to be holding little competitions too, where we're going to have better giveaways as we get to the NFTs, like maybe some special NFT giveaways. And there's also going to be other devlogs with a little bit less information that are going to be continuously posting. So we're going to be interacting with the community on a lot of level. Like, I will be doing most of the interaction with the community and that are already in the group, while obviously Ragnar focuses on the marketing and bringing new people in. But the goal is to, every time we make something cool or make something nice that's looking Fleetwood and stuff like that, I want to tease it to the community. I want to get people on board. There'll also be other stuff like voting. Like, for example, if I'm not sure about a specific character and it's not something that's an exclusive character, or like it's something that's well known, I'm going to do polls like, which one do you like better? We have other groups I'm just talking about Discord here, like your normal stuff, your memes channels, your show suggestions, and whatever, because I really do want to get to know my community. While I can't get to know everyone personally, I want to interact with everyone. I hope that kind of answers the question. Cool.
I think you covered it pretty well. And there is a second follow-up from LM.
Monetizations in that way, no. I'm not going to be. There probably won't be boosters. Maybe there'll be boosters that you can unlock. But like I said, the only thing that you can buy directly from FleetWood is the stable NFTs. Everything else you have to buy from a player, or it's unlocked. There will be there'll obviously be the outside of obviously everything running. Sorry, I keep saying obviously outside of everything running on our own token, and obviously all the sales on our own tokens. There will be a tax on sales because obviously you need to continuously start making revenue on top of increasing liquidity, so we don't move the token. The tax on when you sell items isn't going to be high. It's definitely going to be 10 or less for what I have in my head, and probably less. Actually, definitely less. But anyway, I don't want to give an exact number. I don't want to say like 5 or 7.5 or 2.5 or whatever, and then being wrong. But it's going to be a very low commission, and that's another way that the company will generate revenue. But there won't be level packs, or they won't. The only way that you can get ahead in those kind of things is, again, you have to buy it through a player, and then when you do, you'll be match made with people in the same league as you. So, yeah.
All right.
As said, this is not a pay to win, and I think, Angel, one thing for sure, there will never be loot boxes, because I think we both hate them as much.
Well, there's not loot boxes, but obviously, you get a reward at the end of the game. But no, it's not going to be like, pay $50 for a loot box and get like 10 of them, and you get like chance. Like, no. That's one thing that really annoys me about League, is just how much money that company makes and how little they give back to their community. Is absolutely preposterous. Like, anyhow.
This will turn around sooner or later. I mean, everything will be like on blockchain. All games will.
That's
soon. Let's hope soon, because all these companies make big amounts of money, and the players will just keep spending and spending, and they get nothing back. So with cryptos now, it's at least they will get something. What proportion will be that? It depends. All right. I think we don't have any question, do we? No, we don't.
I do have one quick question. Hi, guys.
Okay. Hello.
All right.
Hi. You've answered every technical question I think that exists out there, and I have no more of those. My brain is kind of fried at the moment. You're amazing. So this is a simple question. How did you come up with the name FleetWood for your project? It's interesting to me.
So I really want to give you an exciting story or something as such, but there really isn't. I was going to call the game like Lightfold, which I don't even think I have the copyright from, because I think the Netflix show, I forgot what it's called, the one with that green little thing that keeps saying cookie. Anyway, I think they have the IP on that for the Lightfold thing, but FleetWood, I heard it, right? I was watching a movie with my wife. I can't remember what movie it was. It was some kind of a fantasy movie. But then I heard FleetWood, and something in my brain clicked. I was like, that sounds fantasy. And then when I think about it, I've heard FleetWood many times, like a city. There's like a football team. There's definitely not anyone that owns the IP over that naming. And it sounds cool. And yeah, it's unlike the rest of the stuff. It's just a bit random, really.
Yeah, well, it's nice. It kind of has a fantasy feel to it, I like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Cool. Well, thank you so much, guys. Really, this is incredible. And I feel really lucky to know about this so early. So glad you guys
really
came
flattering.
here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We will see this name more often.
Get to know you.
Oh,
fantastic community.
All right, guys. As Ragnar said, this project it's really early for them. They have a lot of stuff, like a lot of updates to do. And guys, do join their Telegram. Absolutely recommend it if you want to stay in touch with them. Their community is really amazing. I've been there, I don't know, for a week, 10 days now, and it's really great to be in there. Angel himself, he's there, answers all the questions. Ragnarok as well. He's dealing with all the proposals and some weird ones.
I scared them away.
So, definitely join their groups so you can stay updated. And Angel, would like to give a nutshell summary of those who are still listening, like to close this call?
Yeah, actually, and this one's going to be a nutshell. So Fleetwood is going to be a game that really prioritizes the player, a game that allows you to invest time, a game that allows that's equal in opportunity, a game that's grounded from the start, and most importantly, it'll hopefully be a catalyst to change the landscape of how games are created and to really be a wake-up call for some of these bigger companies that really don't appreciate what they have with their players and their community.
Awesome. Great. Good stuff here, guys. Good stuff.
A first nutshell.
And really great team.
Nice.
A really great team behind it. A really great team. All right, I will stop the recording now.